Hi everyone, my name is Sia Sharma and today I'm going to tell you a bit about cells. So look at these two images over here. The first image is of onion cells in a microscope and the second image is of a brick wall. Notice how these two images look kind of similar to each other. Each cell looks kind of like an individual brick. And now just like how we can say that bricks are the building blocks of a brick wall, the same way cells are the building blocks of living organisms. So cells are the building blocks of life. Our own body consists of millions and billions of various kinds of cells, which all work together to help us function properly. Cells were discovered in 1665 by Robert Hooke. Over here we can see an image of how he may have looked at the time. So how Robert Hooke discovered cells is that one day he was examining a slice of cork under a light microscope that he had made on his own. This is kind of how that light microscope looked like. So when he was looking at the cork in the light microscope, he saw millions of tiny box-like structures on the cork's surface. These tiny box-like structures reminded him of cellula, or the small rooms that monks inhabited, and from then on, the term cell was kept for these structures. So since the time of Robert Hooke, there have been many scientific discoveries which gave us a lot of information about these cells. Now, using the information from those discoveries, we form the cell theory. The cell theory was first told by Theodor Schwann in 1835. There are three parts to the cell theory, and they are: 1. All organisms are made of one or more cells. So all the living organisms in the earth are made of cells. These organisms, they can either be unicellular or multicellular. Unicellular organisms are the organisms which consist of only one cell, or they can also be called single-celled organisms. Examples of these are paramecium, yeast, amoeba, and bacteria. Multicellular organisms consist of many cells. Examples of this can be you, me, plants and animals, and insects. So multicellular organisms, they have complex systems to carry out various functions. For example, if we take ourselves, we have the respiratory system to help in respiration, and the digestive system to help out in digestion, and many other systems. But in unicellular organisms, they are made of only one cell. So this one cell which is there, it must be able to carry out all of the functions which are necessary for it to survive. Now coming to the second part of the cell theory, cells are the basic units of structure and function for living things. Now we know that cells are the building blocks of life, but later as we will come to know, there are many smaller components in the cell. These are called organelles. Now a question may come that these organelles, they are smaller structurally than the cell. But then why aren't they called the building blocks of life? The reason is because though they're smaller in structure, they alone can't carry out all of the functions which are necessary for us to survive. A cell, however, it consists of all of these organelles, and these organelles, they work together and then they carry out all of the functions which are necessary for us to survive. And that's why cells are called, they are the smallest structural and functional units of a living organism, whether that living organism is multicellular or unicellular. So now the third part of the cell theory is all cells come from pre-existing cells. Now cells, they just don't pop up randomly wherever they want. Cells only come from an already existing cell. They replicate from that cell. Over here we can see an animated image of this replication. This process of this replication is called mitosis or cell division. Mitosis was discovered by Walter Fleming in 1879. It should also be noted that when we grow up or when we grow taller in height, the cells which are there in our body, they don't grow larger or anything. They just replicate from each other, and that's how we grow. Over here now we can see the real microscopic image of a cell replicating. So that's all that I wanted to see today. Thank you very much. I hope that you understood a bit about cells and cell theory. So stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you very much.